Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Richards, Technical Services Manager of the Managing General Agents Association, and on behalf of the MGAA, I'd like to welcome you to our briefing this afternoon. This is being delivered by Softelligence on the subject of redesigning the customer journey with AI and low-code, no-code platforms. Before I introduce our presenter, I'd just like to run through a few housekeeping points. Please ensure your microphone and camera are turned off. If you'd like to ask a question, feel free to use the chat button at the bottom of your screen. Time allowing, these will be asked and answered at the end of the event. If we run out of time, questions will be answered post-event. This presentation is accredited for CPD points if relevant to your ongoing professional development programme. This briefing is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be issued post-event, together with the slides and our feedback survey. Please take the time to complete our survey, which will take no longer than 2 minutes. This allows us to deliver the best possible future events to our membership. So today's briefing is on the subject of redesigning the customer journey with AI and low-code, no-code platforms from Softelligence. So let me introduce you to our presenter, Daniel Jingo. Daniel leads the consulting team at Softelligence. His focus is to help insurers, brokers and MGAs to enhance their customer and employee experience with the help of data-driven digital business transformation. With over 15 years' experience in insurance broking and banking, prior to joining Softelligence, he was involved in the delivery of transformative projects with companies such as Marsh and other major financial services organisations. So without further ado, enjoy the briefing, everyone, and over to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It's welcome to see you, all of us, even virtually, or I can imagine that I can see you. Today we have an interesting subject, and although we do have AI in the title, I'm not necessarily going to tackle ChatGPT or the hype around this, although I do think it's worth our consideration to put an eye on that. But basically what we are going to try today is to share beyond the fuzz around a lot of buzzwords in there, the value that we could bring to our day-to-day operations, to our day-to-day business, by leveraging technologies like AI and low-code, no-code platforms. In the end, basically, the let's say highlight is not going to be necessarily on technology, although we think it's really important to use the tools that allow us to bring, let's say, value to our business and our day-to-day operations or to our customer experience faster. But I'm going to touch also, I would say, cultural changes and, let's say, our best practices and how we basically we bring and unchain the most of the value for our customers in the insurance sector, no matter if they are carriers, MGAs, or brokers. So without further ado, I'm going to skip into our presentation. So redesigning the customer journey. For disambiguation purposes, I will mention the following. So when I'm referring to customer, I'm thinking also to our employees, to the brokers, to any other partners, to TPAs, not necessarily to the customer that is buying or purchasing insurance, but under this term, we might call it user, but I'm referring to all of the users of a specific system, of a digital system, or a combination of a solution. And my presentation starts basically with the concept of business process reengineering instead of necessarily focusing on technology, because I guess this is the key of all of our transformational projects that we are driving for our customers in order to unlock, let's say, the potential that sits in there in the data that they have and to enable them to do business or to interact with their partners, with their brokers, with their end customers in a smoother way, in a better way, and last but not least, do more business in a more sustainable way. And I'm staying a little bit on the idea of re-engineering or redesigning business processes, because this, we would say, this is the key point where we are starting our, let's say, endeavors and our transformational projects, because there we could achieve dramatic improvements in productivity, in cycle times, quality, and last but not least, employee and customer satisfaction. And most of the time, I would say we do think that we will find that piece of technology or that solution that it's the silver bullet for us. But in reality, that sits within us, and I don't think can be standardized. And it's going to be very different from an organization to another, although we are catering the same type of customers, or maybe our products seem similar or our solutions seem similar in the market. But in the end, the systems and the solutions that we are using, they are so different, because that brings differentiation in the market, and that makes us unique as players in the entire value chain on the market. Now we have our first poll before jumping into the, let's say, the demo. What would you think that is the key point that you will want to solve in a redesigned user journey? The poll is going to be open, basically. These are some of the examples that we are encountering in our endeavors in general. I would say it's not necessarily one or the other. Most of the time it's the combination of them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to get your view and your thoughts on this. Of course, a lot of things sits around simplification, the idea of simplifying, and we all know the well-known, let's say, proposal forms where we ask our customers basically to ask over and over again a lot of questions. Some of the questions we might already know the answers most of the time, especially in the renewal process. And I can share also from our experience this time as a customer, from the customer perspective, we just went through the renewal of our PI and cyber coverage. And although we are renewing with the same insurers, I think it's the 5th year in a row, still I've got to complete all those informations again and again, although they do know a lot of details and nothing changed necessarily. So yeah, from time to time, I think I'm willing to redesign the entire journey, thinking about our own experience as a customer, not necessarily as consultants. So yeah, very interesting answers. So it seems the vast majority of you, basically, you have responded that 100 plus questionnaire that needs to be asked, or the questions that needs to be asked in the proposal form will be the key, let's say, pain point. So more than half of you, you are resonating with what I was telling before in our experience. Then the complexity of the underwriting process, which somehow derives, and it is reflected in the 100 plus questionnaire. Then, of course, the turnaround time for the customer to receive a quote, and we do know what cumbersome and how much time it takes until we get the quote which is approved. And of course, the inefficiency, it's with I would say with the same percentages in terms of answer, the turnaround time and the inefficiency of communicating through emails. We do know that we exchange questions over again through emails, and this is quite inefficient. And you will see in our demo how we are tackling this sort of inefficiencies in a single solution where we are combining different touch points, which doesn't imply necessarily emails. Of course, emails could be nice to have in order to have some notification, but we are going to use portals instead of using emails. Of course, last but not least, we have also 60% of you have responded time to solve referrals, could be also a key pain point. And yeah, that's the results. Going forward, I'm going to switch to my colleague Minia, who is going to share his screen and where we are going to delve into the solution that we have designed. This is a concept. Various components of this concept of these solutions, it is used in production by various players in the London market, and not only in the continental Europe as well. And what you will see basically, it's our approach towards increasing or let's say targeting new customers. Of course, you might say that the first part of the solution, maybe it's more suitable to some line of businesses, more to personal lines or maybe to SMEs. Although variations of these solutions could be applied also to mid-market or corporate customers, maybe in a different form. but what we are trying to do here basically is just to show the power of combining different pieces of technologies in one customized solution that basically has the ability and the objective to help you do business and target new customers at the right moment in time when they're about to renew or to purchase coverage without asking too many questions. And then the entire interaction and the friction between confirming the risk data through emails to be replaced by a communication on a portal, on a web portal, and last but not least, to provide both brokers and underwriters a single place where they could communicate and solve things in real time. We have pieces of AI and machine learning algorithms. We have the typical CRM that you might use, and of course the last part where we have the rating engine and the distribution platform. Basically, it's built on top of a low-code, no-code platform, which is quite known on the market. Of course, we are using also in this demo Power Apps, Power Automate, as I was telling you, machine learning algorithms, and last but not least, the tool of choice for this demo in terms of no-code platform was Instana, which is one of our partners in this space. So, Mina, please, if you can share your screen and let's start the demo.
You are all able to see my screen?
Yeah, I'll do the introduction on this. So basically, as I was telling before, we will start our journey from the CRM. In this case, we have used Dynamics from Microsoft as a CRM of choice. Of course, we have solutions where we have basically other CRMs. It could be Salesforce or Spot Hub or any other CRMs that you are using. So here, basically, we will start by defining. We'll try to define a marketing campaign, but before that, we will try to segment based on a set of criteria, which could be done manually, or it could be generated by a machine learning algorithm to do the segmentation of our target audience. Which means, let's assume we will, in this step, and we could start basically the configuration of segmenting and extracting the list of prospects that we would like to target in a spring campaign, for example. This will be an AI-enabled spring campaign where we are going to get a list of customers, a list of companies. Basically, we are going to target SMEs. And based on some of our criteria, in this case, it's a manual, let's say, segmentation part. We'll provide a few, let's say, like zip code and, I don't know, maybe a geographical on the geographical radius or area, we are targeting companies that activate in a certain industry or with a certain zip code. And
just a small, what I wanted to also mention is the fact that we're not limited to this criteria. We can add as many as we want, like turnover or any other type of criteria that you would like. So just wanted to emphasize on that point.
The granularity that we use in our segmentation, it could vary a lot. And as I was telling you, we could do it either by rule-based or based on our experience, or we could use some machine learning algorithms that do the proper segmentations in order to do that micro-segmentation that will achieve better conversion rates when we are targeting them with their customized cover. So as, let's say, the literature mentioned, ideally we will reach the segment of 1, so we'll be able to send customized codes, indicative codes, and the customized, let's say, coverage to our customers without necessarily having the need of advisory at this moment in time. But yeah, this is the segmentation part.
Yeah, just to interrupt a bit, Daniel. So as soon as I'm defining my segmentation criteria, we have an automation behind the scenes that it's calling external data sources to basically get all the companies that we wanted to get. So in this area, with this zip code, turnover, or any other kind of segmentation criteria that you would like. So if I'm switching to our automation integration with Power Apps and Power Automate. So we have a flow that's running behind the scenes. So if I'm going into this flow, let me refresh it. So if I'm checking this flow, what we will be able to see, so let me go into that flow. We will see the fact that there is a flow that started 43 seconds ago and it's running. We have a 28-day run history here with every run that took place for this automation. And if I'm opening this automation that's running, we will see the fact that what happens is the automation basically takes all the criteria that we defined for our marketing campaign list. It goes into external data sources, it checks all the companies, it comes back to our AI service. And then what happens is it enriches our CRM with and our legacy system basically with the data that extracted. The juicy part, I think, is if we go back into our CRM and if we check the members that were extracted by the automation, the juicy part is the fact that all the potential customers, they have an RFA rating that was extracted from the external data sources. So we're able to see the company based on their financial
risk, basically. We have the rating for the financial analysis. And also we have our machine learning algorithm has predicted the quarter in which they are most likely to buy or to renew insurance, basically their coverage. And in this case, we are targeting them with a commercial combined product based on the criteria that we have set before. And this machine learning algorithm, it predicts us when will be most likely to buy or to renew their policy. Therefore, that will be the moment where it's most likely to send the indicative code, where basically we will have another machine learning that will enable us to enrich the data, because as you can see, we didn't ask them to complete any proposal form with 100 questions. So therefore, we are trying to extract the risk data from external data sources on one hand. On the other hand, based on the data that we have, or you might have on that specific type of customers, we might enrich it with the machine learning algorithm and fill the blanks. So things that try to put on the right category each and every company, and in that segment to provide similar risks, limits, and deductibles that are most likely to be bought by those customers. After we are enriching the data with the second machine learning algorithm, we are able basically to go in the rating engine, which is going to be shown by me now as it is. And the rating engine basically generates automatically after we are creating the campaign. You will see right now how Mihna is creating the campaign after we've got all the segments of customers that we want to target. And the rating engine will generate the codes, indicative codes, of course, depending on the line of business. Could be full codes, but most of the time are going to be just indicative codes, because we do need to go to each process, each step of the process, and get approvals and maybe ask additional questions most likely, and then confirm the risk data, and only afterwards to bind the policies. Of course, in this demo you will see a simplified version, a very happy path, which most likely in the real life is going to have some let's say complications in there. Last but not least, what you see on this screen, it's the process advisor, or it's the as you could imagine, we are designing at some moment in time the perfect process, which is perfect at this moment in time, but then we need to measure it and to fine tune it, and then we are going to change the order of the operations, or maybe we are redesigning the flow in order to achieve better results. So therefore, I would say process redesigning, it's rather a journey, and it never stops. You are measuring, you are improving, you do A/B testing, and then you are coming back to deliver and ship another improved, let's say, business process in order to have better outcomes.
I think what's also important to mention is the fact that why we chose to show the quarter rather than an exact date, and that's because the ML and AI algorithm is more accurate in terms of providing us the exact quarter when a potential customer would be willing to buy or to renew a new quote. Of course, in time, as you train the algorithm, it gets more precise. So the accuracy currently is around 90%, but in time, as you train the algorithm, it gets more and more accurate.
Yeah. Now, going to the rating engine.
So first of all, maybe we don't want to target all the customers. So what we would like is to apply additional filters. So let's say that in terms of financial analysis, maybe we don't want bronze customers. We would like the silver and the gold ones. And of course, maybe we don't want to target all the customers that their current policies are expiring in the second quarter. So maybe we want to target these customers where their current policies or they would be willing to renew in the third quarter or and so on. So we can apply additional filters to the whole list that we've got. And now what we will do is, this is the moment where we will start creating our campaign. So we want to target these customers with new quotes. So what happens is, I'm starting my marketing campaign. Let's call it spring campaign. I want to email these potential customers, basically, and I want to send them a quote. So what happens now is it creates quotes. It sends the data to the rating engine, and it creates quotes for all the companies that I've selected and I've filtered. So if we go first to the rating engine, as Daniel mentioned, we used Instandas, which is a partner of ours. But actually, let's check the email. So basically, if you go into the email, we will see the fact that we've got an email that was received with a quote. We got the quote document. So besides the email itself with the data, and this is a simple email with not so many details, but if we can also attach quotes to the emails and so on. So we can attach documents with more details, if the customer agrees, when the policy starts, when it ends, what would be the premium and so on. But again, we're not limited to this kind of details. We can have more complex documents and so on based on the rating engine. But what's important is the fact that if a customer agrees with all the details that we are providing and with the quote,
and of course, if they are confirming the risk data and the names, let's say disclosure and the compliance questions,
exactly,
stuff like this, they could purchase it.
They have the ability to purchase and to go straight into the rating engine. So what you will see on my screen is I jumped from Outlook, from my email app, to the rating engine, and this is a portal where I don't have to authenticate as a customer. So I don't have to add in any credentials in order to check my quote on the portal. This is an unauthenticated portal where basically I'm able to check all the details that were sent from Dynamics, from the CRM, and to check all the details that were calculated by the rating engine. Of course, since we're using external data sources, not all the details might be accurate and right. So you are able to also edit your details. So you'll go through to the screen and fill in the details and so on. So if I'm clicking on edit details, it will send me to the screens to edit my details. Of course, I can also download the code document again if I want to, but we've already gone through that. So just remember, this is an unauthenticated portal. We haven't done anything. So me as a customer, if I agree with with the price and so on, I can go further and buy this quote. I also have different payment methods. I can pay online or I can pay offline by checks or bank transactions and so on. But let's go through the online payment journey. Since this is an online payment, I have to confirm some billing details, right? So let's continue to the payment provider. I'm sent to the payment provider now. I'm going to add my card details here. Let's confirm also the card details.
Of course, I hope this is not your credit card.
Definitely, it's not mine. All right, so let's process the payment. All right, bear with me for a second until it processes. And there you go. We got our policy. We have a policy number here. And if you wait for a few seconds, maybe a minute, we will also have an email which is going to be sent to me with my policy details and as well my policy document, which I'm also able to download from this page. So if I'm clicking on policy document, I'll be able to check the policy document that was issued, payment method, premium, IPTs, all the details. But again, this is a very simple document for demo purposes. We're not limited to this kind of document. So
of course, that was the oversimplified process where no referrals were triggered, and also the risk data were confirmed by the company. We know that most probably in the day-to-day life with most of the customers, this is not going to be necessarily the case. Still, we could redesign the journey in order to address in a simple and frictionless, let's say, manner the entire process. And you will see also the tools that we are using for that. So I guess this is the moment in time when me as a customer, I do have also the possibility to log into a customer portal and to get the entire details. And last but not least, I guess it's very important that everything is also ready to be, let's say, to be consumed on the mobile devices as well, not necessarily on the laptop. So everything being mobile responsive.
Yep, so we'll go through that as well. Going back to the portal and to the email, actually. So what we will see is when we bind the quote, basically, we get an email. Let's also open it in a different app. Let me open the other one. So what happens is we receive a policy email, which looks like this, which confirms the fact that there's a policy that was successfully generated and all the relevant documents have been attached. So again, we can also check the policy document on the email as well. And more than that, we have a link here which sends us to the customer portal, and we are able to register into our customer portal. So let's do that as well. So bear with me for a second. If we go back into the customer portal, we have at the top of our screen a login option. So you can either go from the email and register to your customer portal, or since I already have an account, I'll log in straight into my customer portal, basically. And let's do that.
So basically on the same solutions, we will be able to see both underwriters, brokers, customers having various interactions with their own dedicated portal, but still on the same central piece of solution and data. Therefore, they could actually interact with each other or ask as an underwriter to ask additional questions and get the notifications and the responses instantly directly in the portal with the right flags and with the right, let's say, operational cues that might enable or help us to facilitate the work. And also with the concept of being able to solve some of the referrals also in an automatic manner. And actually, if you are checking our previous webinar with MGA that we have done at some point, and I guess we could share that at some point, the link where we are showcasing our tools in order to solve referrals in an automatic manner in most of the 60% of the cases, that will reduce the frictions that occurs when a customer asks for a quote and a lot of referrals are triggered in there. And that will help them, the underwriters, basically to solve things or put in the right category faster, and last but not least to comply also with the TCF regulations, which says that we should price accordingly similar risks. And also with the power of AI and the low-code solutions, basically we are easing the entire process with that. Now coming back to the customer portal.
So going back to the customer portal, initially I logged in with a different account which had no policies, but going back to the customer portal, me as a customer, after I bound my quote, I can create an account and log in into my customer portal. I can have an overview of my policy. As Daniel said, everything is also mobile responsive. So maybe I'm going to use my my phone to check and to do the whole process and so on. So it's mobile responsive for phones, tablets, and so on. What I can also do is I have a few actions that I can do as a customer. I can cancel my policy at some point if I want to. I can do midterm adjustments, so I can adjust the policy. And I can also file claims. So I also have here a tab which is called quotes, but since I actually do have a quote. So probably I have an unfinished quote, which I've done before. I can continue this one if I got any left. So
maybe you have received additional questions from the underwriter that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah, so the whole interaction with the underwriters and so on can be done through the customer portal. So if there's a referral triggered and it's still a quote and the underwriter asks for more questions, then it will show in the quotes area and we'll have a status which basically says, okay, the underwriter asked a few more questions, so if you could please answer these as well, it would be great.
Also, the same interactions could go between brokers and underwriters in order to solve and let's say serve to their customers and to ease the communication between them and get faster responses.
I'll also have the claims area, but this time I really have no claims for this policy since I just made it, but we can start claims as well. So I'll have an overview of my claims, the statuses, and so on. So for claims as well, maybe there are going to be additional questions asked by the team that reviews the claim if it's necessary. So again, we will be able to see the whole interaction for that one as well. Now, going to the back office portal, let's remember this policy number, so policy 88. So we also have we call it broker portal, but it's basically a back office portal where me as an agent user or a broker, I'm able to log in, or even as an underwriter. So we can have different kind of users. I'll have a dashboard which quotes assigned to me or policies that I found. So for this user, I don't think I have any policies, but I'm able to search for policies or for certain quotes. So let's take, for example, this one and search for this one. So this is it. This is the policy that we have in the system. So we have this result, a company, SIC code that we've done through the marketing campaign, postcode, and the fact that the policy was issued. And if we click on view, again, as a broker or as a back office user, I'll be able to see a summary of the policy, what is the company name, premium, start date. So again, we're not limited to this kind of details. You can have as many as you want. Doesn't matter. We can add as many as you want. And more than that, we have a lot of actions on the right side. We can check the referral history in case there was a referral triggered, and we can also check the interactions with the customer. So maybe we ask for more documents, maybe we ask additional questions. We have the whole communication that was done through email. So I don't always have to check my email to see what was sent to the customer. I don't need to search for the emails in Outlook or Gmail or any other apps that we're using. I can see the whole communication against this policy into the portal. Of course, a history of transaction, an overview of the customer. I can copy, recall this code, and standard policy administration actions like canceling a policy, renewals, midterm adjustments, claims, and yeah, basically a lot of functionality for back office users. So I think this is it in a nutshell. Just to reiterate the process, we started from a legacy system. We've created a list with companies from external data sources, right? So we went through external data sources. So this is our campaign. We've gathered a lot of information from external data sources, and then we started this campaign. And as you can see, these were my selected members. And then once we've segmented, so as Daniel is sharing, this is the process. So we started from dynamics. We went to external data sources. We took the data out of external data sources. We predicted the quarter when the potential customers will be willing to renew or to buy a new code. We went back through into the CRM, and we've created our marketing campaign. And then we emailed, we went into the rating system, we've created a quote, and then we emailed the quote to the customer. And then the customers are able, from their email app, to access the quote, go into an unauthenticated portal. If they agree with the price, they can go further and bind it and transform it into a policy.
So basically, also from a technical perspective, what we can see that in order to cater such an important business need to have an end-to-end journey from quotation to binding and then to self-service for the brokers and for the customers, we have used basically not only one technical solution or only one technology. So basically, we have used Dynamics. Then we have used two low-code, no-code platforms. One was Power Automate and Power Apps, basically the combination of it, plus the Instandard platform, which is dedicated for, let's say, underwriting and online distribution. And of course, we have used the two machine learning algorithms, one for prediction, when is the most likely moment that the customer would buy or renew their policy. And the second one we have used to fill in the gaps regarding the risk data in order to be able to serve them a cover that is relevant to their and that is most likely closer to their let's say needs in that moment. Of course, in this demo, given the short time that we had, we have oversimplified some of the scenarios. Most of the, let's say, projects or initiatives gets a lot more complicated, but the good news, I would say, is the following. So these sort of solutions could be implemented, and our track record shows us that we could bring an impact to our customers in 12 to 14 weeks. And then just fine-tuning or let's say launching, having a roadmap where we are launching, we are measuring and sending again and again new features in order to improve the solutions. Go back to my screen. And now, if you would ask after you've seen the demo, what will be the typical approach in order to unlock or to redefine, let's say, the experience of our colleagues, of our brokers, of our partners, and last but not least for the insured persons, basically. What we are doing typically, and we recommend, is just to start an exploratory session where basically cross-functional teams are assessing the SE situation and understanding the key pain points. Hence the reason we've asked that first question in the poll, what we are trying actually to solve, at least for the next on short term, and what will be our vision for the future. Then as a next step, we are using the concept of business process redesign by using techniques like brown paper technique, where actually we are trying to divide the entire processes in a lot of sub-processes and determine all the stakeholders and see where could occur some frictions in the process. Then we prototype really fast through low-code, no-code platforms, and you will see what it means really fast. We create the roadmap, and then we build in iterations and bring impact. So therefore, most of our customers, they get live and they are able to test something in a real scenario, sometimes in 10 weeks, sometimes in 12 weeks, sometimes in 14 weeks, and we had even some exceptional cases where we were flying faster than a rocket, and with let's say speed sound basically, where we have launched things in maybe 7 to 8 weeks. Of course, there are exceptional cases, but what's really important to understand is that everything that you see here, all the steps are rather a journey, and they are done in the loop. And after you are building, you need to measure it to get the KPIs, and also the local no-code platforms that we are proposing as solutions enable us to have a process in various formats, let's say in 2 different types, let's say the same process in the format A and the same process in format B, and then basically ensure various customer experience and measure it which one, A or B, it's bringing better results. Instead of thinking before and trying to decide upfront which could be, based on some assumptions, better for our customers, we say, why not both? Why we are not going with both processes in the market? We measure it, and then we take a decision. And then we redesign the process, and we improve it again and again and again for better results. So our aim and our goal is make something that it's imperfect, because perfect is going to be just in one moment in time. The next moment, the context will be changed. Therefore, you will need to address and do some fine-tunes to the process. And if the technology that sits behind the solution doesn't help you to do that fast, and I would say not very costly, then basically we will lose some opportunities to make a difference in the market, to delight our customers, and to make the life easier on the day-to-day operations for brokers, for employees, for partners. Which leads me to the next question of the poll, which is, what do you think are the key constraints for your organization to adopt a similar journey as presented in the webinar? And I must confess, when we were addressing the questions and we have provided the, let's say, the options, we were thinking that, of course, we know that innovation, it's easier to, and we are hearing a lot of innovative things that are done by startups, but a startup has the, let's say, privilege that they don't have yet legacy. They are building legacy, but they don't have yet legacy. So therefore, maybe it's faster and cheaper to be innovative when you're a startup. But what about for established business, where they have huge portfolios of customers and they do need to consider all the aspects? And our approach towards that is not change the legacy or get rid of it. I guess it's very costly and it's not very optimum. So therefore, our solutions that we are proposing are not replacing the legacy, are rather complementary to the legacy. And our solutions most of the times are built on, we are building on top of the legacy systems with these platforms that enable us to bring all the digital goodies that are needed and that are not we are not able to provide it with our legacy systems. So therefore, our recommendation would be forget about data migration or trying to replace necessarily legacy systems. So as long as they are doing their main job, keep it for that, and bring technology that enables and they are complementary and bringing new things on top of the legacy. And it seems that almost 33% of you were saying that legacy IT systems could be a problem. I guess it's a problem that it's quite easy to be solved as long as we are understanding that it's easier to build on top of it instead of replacing. Otherwise, everything is going to transform in a lengthy process, way too lengthy, and we do want to make a difference in our annual results, in our quarterly results, and not do a big project that is going to change things in 2 to 3 years now from now on. So therefore, our concept is let's do something fast without, let's say, shaking the legacy. Of course, if at some point it really makes sense to decommission some of the systems, then that's possible. But our favorite approach is build on top and have an impact on the business very fast. Months, ideally weeks. Regarding the budgets, also the entire concept of low code and no code, I would say it brings a lot, and this seems the next option was 33% of you said that the budgets might be a problem. It might be a lot more expensive not to try to adopt this sort of solutions on the long run, especially if we are looking at the missed opportunities and how we could enable through these solutions and bringing frictionless solutions to enable to tap for new markets. And last but not least, the way we are working could also keep your employees and colleagues more satisfied at the work, because nobody wants to be doing mundane work when they should use their technical expertise where they are best, or the complicated part. Then, of course, one of my favorite, and I would say this is the most important or key challenge that we are facing, no matter how big is the organization, the change resistance, which is in our human nature, and the cultural change. And you will see that although we've touched the technology side, technology is representing only the tools, and the biggest challenge that we are facing in our digital transformation endeavors where we are assisting our customers is basically driving cultural change. I would say the digital transformation starts with people and ends with people. And even if we are talking about AI, even that starts with people, and it's less about technology and it's a lot more about people and the way we allow ourselves to redesign the way we are doing business and the way we are interacting with our customers and the way we do business on a daily basis. And of course, we need to break some habits on one hand. On the other hand, to disclose some of to share with you some of our experience. In general, what happens when we are trying to digitize some of the processes, some of our customers, they are thinking about some incremental benefits to be put in the new digitized process. But they are not allowing themselves to dream more than that because they are used already with the constraints that comes from the current legacy systems. So therefore, their current processes reflect somehow the constraints that they are having on the current systems. And when we are coming with this sort of initiative, what we are trying to push them is to forget about any constraint and just to let themselves to dream about the ideal scenarios and forget about the legacy technology, because technology is here to help us and to enable us, not to be a blocker. Although sometimes it is perceived like that, and it could be, but I guess dealing with technology is easier than we are thinking. On the other hand, change resistance and the cultural change, we do need to understand that that's not necessarily a project, it's rather a journey, and hence most of the time I like to call it, I don't necessarily like the term digital transformation, because it really is more like down to business transformation where we are using technology as tools. And business transformation means mainly about changing the way our organization work. And there are a lot of beautiful technologies out there in the market. We are using most of them in complex projects with our customers. And in the end, I think everything boils down to experience and to people and openness to do things differently at an organization level. And maybe at an individual level it's easier, but at an organization level we do need to understand that good things takes time. I would be actually really curious because I would say 25% of you mentioned other. I don't know if you have any mean to or a way to find what's hiding behind that other as a key constraint, but I'm more than willing. If you are dropping me an email, you will see at the end of the presentation the contact details. I'll be more than open to talk about this, and of course you can contact me and discuss about of other things in there. Yeah, I guess here is that part where maybe we should introduce ourselves as well. So I was introduced already. I'm Daniel Jinga, and I'm consulting director within Softelligence. Softelligence basically was founded in 2006, and we are a technology consultancy company that is serving only two industries: insurance and banking. And although we do understand technology, we say that our key strength is basically that all our colleagues, starting from consultants and going to developers or QAs, all of us, we do understand insurance or we do understand banking. And before technology, we are talking the same language as our customers. And you could see some selection of our customers that we think are relevant, big customers where we had the chance to assist them in various digital transformation projects, strategic projects, where we like to think that we were able to enable them to make a difference and an impact on the market on various areas, from underwriting to digital distribution, alternative distribution, to IFRS implementations, to data-driven solutions, or building new data platforms. A lot of, or you could imagine that's let's say a carrier or an MGA or a cover holder or a broker might need. Basically, we are able here to serve and to build tailored solutions for them. And it's not because we don't think necessarily on, let's say, products or out-of-the-box functionalities, but most of the times out-of-the-box functionalities doesn't cater for the that unique DNA that each company in the industry has. So therefore, I think solutions should be here to serve the needs and the uniqueness of each company, instead of pushing them and constrain them to comply with a certain system that provides some out-of-the-box functionalities. And from our experience, the biggest differences are done where people dare to think in a unique manner and to shape their, let's say, processes in the perfect way for their organization at that moment in time. And then, of course, measure it and reiterate. So, yeah, that was it on our side. Thank you very much. You'll see in the list. I think we've touched all the learning objectives for today. And I'm pretty keen to find out more or to answer to questions, or maybe even get into contact and have various discussions with you maybe after the webinar. So thank you very much, everyone. And if there are any questions, please.
Yeah, if there are any questions, we've got a couple of minutes, 4 minutes. So if anyone wants to type them in the meeting chat or come off mute and ask them, then feel free to do so. Okay, I can't see any coming through. So you've got Daniel's details there, or feel free to contact me and I can pass on any questions. So my email address is tim.richards@mgaa.co.uk. So just remains for me to say thanks so much for your presentation today. And I'm sure everyone will agree that's been really useful. Thanks also to all of you for joining us. Please don't forget to provide your feedback and look out for forthcoming MGAA events. Hope you have a productive afternoon. Thanks for joining us and see you all soon.